to yet again another fantastic session coming soon. We are thrilled to introduce our next speaker, Adel Hameed. He is SVP, so if you're not sure of that term, Senior Vice President of Global Customer Success at PayTabs. He's coming to us from Dubai today, so we appreciate his time very much. And he's going to talk about how to build a customer-centric culture as you scale. And that may sound quite straightforward, but having been there and done that before, it is not. And customer success and customer centricity is a really important and critical business element at this moment in time. So we're very excited to have you. Adel, take it away.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the intro and the opportunity. And I'm really excited to present to the future entrepreneurs that will change the world. Okay, so I understand that the subject of building a customer-centric culture, especially if you're a startup and you're scaling up, you always will face limitations of resources that you'll have to always keep account of or keep an eye on as you're operating your business. So I hope that this will give you an overview. The purpose of it is that by the end of this presentation, you'll know what kind of questions to ask, what kind of projects you might want to consider as you're scaling up your business or as you're starting up your business. So, and then we'll have at the end of the session, a Q&A session to answer any questions. Now, I'd like to start with a cartoon. So now, as you can read, it's our highest priority is satisfying our customers, except when it's hard or unprofitable or we're busy. So I'm sure you can relate to a situation that you had with your telecom company or with your when you buy a product that you're not happy with and you want to return it. Suddenly the message of customer comes first changes and you get exceptions and special conditions and stuff like that. And this has been changing around the world because competition has been increasing and the need for customer centricity is also increasing. So using the example of Spotify, as I think most of you already know about them, they're a music streaming company. You download the app, you can start using it or listening to music immediately. They give you a freemium model, so you don't need to pay anything and you can enjoy their music. And if you would like to upgrade so that you remove all the ads or have special access with their Duo product line or let's say feature, then you'll pay a monthly subscription. Now, what they've done, what's unique about Spotify is that normally with a freemium model, someone would say, you know what, we're just giving it for free to our customers. And this is a Europe-based, when they started, they didn't start in Silicon Valley, they started in Europe. That means they don't have all of that hype around them. So they had to be creative and they had to go the extra mile so that they can compete globally. So they said, you know what, the freemium model that we have, we want to make it the best out there. So our customers would enjoy it and they would continue using it. And then that actually became part of their funnel strategy. So that means you grow your number of free users. Let's say you upgrade and then you pay for a couple of months and then you say, you know what, I don't want to pay. I'm not enjoying, I don't see the value of paying for this. So what happens is that they make it easy also for you to downgrade to the freemium model or the freemium package. So that's one way for them to focus on the customer instead of their own needs, because if it was based on their own needs, they would have probably been side-blinded by all of these things. And also, when you get deeper into their case study, you'll understand that the way that they've been operating is they empower their employees to solve the problems of the customers quickly. So if you need a refund and you're not happy, they don't need to escalate and wait for someone to approve it. No, they immediately do that. So that's all of these things are, or initiatives that they had, made them become popular by their customers. And you can see that a startup that in 2008 was a small company based in Europe, now they're a major company. They've got like 400, as of December 2021, they've got 406 million monthly active users. So you can imagine how big they are. Now, I would like also to share our experience as PayTabs. PayTabs, you can check the website out. It's paytabs.com. It's a Saudi-based company. It's the founder is Saudi. It's backed by Saudi Aramco, at least initially. Later on, now we've got other investors on board as well with us. And we started with a payment gateway. Today, we're a company that offers payment solutions. It could be also white labeled, and there are multiple different lines of the product. So in 2018, we had PayTabs 1.0, which is the old payment gateway, the platform. We had over 15%, and I'm being nice by saying over 15% of churn rate. That means we're losing more than 15% of our customers. So we have to always stay profitable and ahead of everyone else. We need to always add 15% new customers in to stay, to stay afloat. So luckily, we were very unique in the beginning. We didn't have that many competitors, so that worked well for us. We were rated on Trustpilot 1 out of 5. We had an average of 3 complaints, and again, I'm being generous there. Actually, I'm being generous by saying it's only 3 complaints. It's actually more than that in some months. So, and what was happening is that the product initially was built as an MVP, and then we started, building on it. Now, what the good thing about what the CEO realized early on, that he saw that we need to introduce a more robust, advanced product. We need to become more customer-centric, and this is where he initiated the project of PayTabs 2.0, which is the new, more enhanced modular payment gateway. So today in 2022, we've got the product has been there for more than a year. We've got less than 5% churn rate. We transformed the company, so the whole company, even the interdepartmental collaboration on all the value streams, delivering all the services to the customers, they're all in a much more advanced setup. We're working in harmony together, and the metrics that are implemented as well, they empower people, they enable them to become faster and also hold each other accountable. And the result is that we moved on Trustpilot from 1 in 2018 to 4.2 today in 2022. And the average complaints per month with a much larger customer base is around 10 complaints per month. So these are all outcomes that are showing today from all the work that we've done, which I'll share with you in a bit. The support channels as well. This is a very important part, is that initially we had the phone numbers open, the emails open, customers just call us. We didn't organize or manage the expectation of the merchants. Today, we removed the calls. However, we've got other channels available. We made sure that the information is available for the merchants through the portal, through solution articles, through the chatbots. And when we did the survey as well, we realized that they actually prefer to get their support through WhatsApp or through chat because they don't need to wait. They can do other things while they're chatting and getting the support they require. And so this is the comparison between before and now. So before we delve deeper into it, into the initiatives, we need to look at the meaning of customer centricity. and to be able to answer the what customer centricity means, especially when we're looking at the subject, the overall subject. We need to answer the first question, which is what are scale-ups? The second one, customer centricity, and then what is organizational culture? Because if you're trying to create a customer-centric culture as you're scaling up, you need to understand what are the forces against you and what are the forces with you as well. So when is this a startup is a scale-up? And this is, you won't find a clear black and white answer for that, because everyone will give you a different answer. However, if I simplify it in a way, I would say, as a startup, your mission is to validate the product and to make sure that you achieve product market fit, so that you can gain a sizable customer base and say, you know what, I'm ready to scale. Now I need money, because I need money to hire more people. I need to open new offices, because your product has a proven track record with paying customers or paying users. So this is when a startup becomes a scale-up. So think of it this way: the startup doesn't change into scale-up, but the startup, you tag it, it's scaling up right now. And then you've got customer centricity. It's basically when you align everyone, all the processes, all the policies, all the efforts, the mindsets of the employees, you empower the employees, you align everything towards servicing the customer, and you start listening to them. So in the beginning, this will happen. And between now and then, you'll have to do it. You have to talk to the customers, sit with them, interview them. Like, for example, for PayTabs, what we do is that every now and then, everyone who left us a customer satisfaction rating, we interview them, whether it's positive or negative, because we'll learn something new out of that. And that knowledge goes into the relevant departments. They turn into initiatives. So, and then we've got exit interviews. If someone is leaving us, we interview them to understand, why are they leaving us? Is there a way that we could retain them? So, and then we create a report that gives us a breakdown of the reasons of why they're leaving us. Are we too expensive? Were they expecting something that the competitors are offering that we're not offering? Stuff like that. And then finally, the culture. So the reason why I didn't also add a definition of the culture, because the culture is a simple thing. It's just behaviors of people. I mean, these behaviors are influenced with many variables and many factors. It could be the country, it could be the educational background, it could be the industry that you're in, it could be even the competition in the market. So if you're in an industry that has many competitors in the market, I mean, the culture could be influenced, because everyone says, you know what, I'm staying with you, I could go somewhere else, you know. So it becomes more inclined towards retaining the employees, you know, with salaries and stuff like that, with salary increments and packages. So the way I would encourage you to look at culture is, there are two variables. One of them is risk. The other one is the speed of feedback. So, and with startups, they fall under the bet your company culture, where everything that you do is high risk because of the high uncertainty, the lack of information. You're trying something new, you don't know what will happen. This is why frameworks and methodologies like design thinking plays a big role, you know, and making sure that you fail fast and you get up quickly and you learn, and then you improve and pivot. And then you've got the slow feedback is another factor that's against you in a startup as well. So if you, because you have a limited number of employees or resources, the feedback, you won't have enough time to go and ask your customers, you know, and run surveys and stuff, because you're moving fast. However, if you use the right frameworks, like I mean, design thinking, I keep using that because it's one of my favorite, and I believe that it's an excellent philosophy to follow when you're testing a product. That will give you the feedback you require quickly and will help you out to get out of that blind spot that might cause you to fail. So these are the 3 pieces of knowledge that we need to keep on mind. Now, when it comes to the challenges that you'll be facing as you try to achieve that customer centricity, is, of course, the information. Again, we're talking about high level of uncertainty. Everyone will tell you that because you're going in, you're trying something new, and you need to make sure that you don't fall in love with the product and the idea, that you stop listening to the customers. You need to be realistic by the fact that there is a high likelihood that you'll be wrong and you'll be learning new things. You need to avoid having hierarchies. You need to make sure that communication is separate from hierarchy. Communication can go across the board, anywhere. When there is a project that people are leading on, you need to enable them to take the lead on it. And even if you're their senior or you're a C-level, you still follow them and help them and support them. So these are many things that you have to do to address these challenges. But one of the key challenges that you'll be facing is to control the merchant's expectation or the customer's expectation and the word of mouth that revolves around your product or your business. You might face high employee turnover, especially in the beginning. You might face employees that stay because they can't find anywhere else better than your company, but without you knowing, they might cultivate bad culture. Yeah. So, and I'll be discussing the dysfunctions that you need to be aware of as well. So where to start? Again, we could start from the deliverables, the goals. What do we want to achieve initially? I would summarize it. There are more than that, but I would summarize it in these 4 points. First, you need to achieve positive word of mouth. Now, it could be through referrals, it could be through perception, the brand equity that you'll be creating. Second is minimizing the churn. Initially, when you start, the product will be incomplete. You'll be losing many customers. You need to make sure when you lose them, you learn from them, not just lose them and lose out on the knowledge that they will be giving you. Increase the customer lifetime value. That's also another outcome. This is why I keep using the example of telecom companies, so when you sign up with the telecom company or with a mobile plan or a plan with them, they give you the option to get an iPhone for life. So you sign a contract for 2 years, and then you get an iPhone, and you don't pay an advance payment for it. So that's a way for them to extend your lifetime. So you stay with them for 2 years. The same thing happens, for example, with different software packages. If you pay a monthly subscription, you'll be paying more, but if you pay an annual, you get 2 months free, So that's a way of increasing the customer lifetime value. And then build a community of advocates. This is where you take it to the next step, So you have people that love your product so much that they talk about it. They share what they enjoy about it, with your customers or with their friends, with their family. So these are, I would say, 4 of the important outcomes that we want to get out of being customer-centric. Some considerations you have to keep in mind, like all employees want to do a good job or a great job. No one wakes up in the morning and says, you know what, I'll go and be really bad at what I do. They all want to succeed, but you need to empower them. You need to give them the tools. You need to coach them. You need to create leaders that will succeed at coaching others and leading others as well as you're growing up, as you're growing your business. Cultural fit is a real issue, is a fact, is real, because there are some people that you'll hire and you'll have within your teams where they will have their own mindset. And whatever you do to change their mindset so that you align them with your values, they will go and do whatever they believe in. Probably it will undo what you've been working on. So eventually you'll notice them. It's best to give them a fair chance, and then you'll decide, you know what, I need to take them out of the mix because they're doing more harm. These are things as well you need to keep in mind. Applying theory as well as you're reading books. I hear many times that, oh, this is just theory. That's stuff that's written in books. Now, business schools, what they teach you is that they teach you the theory and then how to take that theory, turn it into tactical tools and frameworks that you can use so that you can implement those changes in your business. And there are so many ways, there are different ways of applying those theories. So that's also another thing that you need to keep in mind. You need to continue learning, but there is no right way of implementing or achieving the outcomes of those theories or applying those theories. You can achieve customer-centric or a sustainable customer centricity or customer-centric culture by removing the noise around the employees. So the distractions by negative people, by people that would shoot down any positive or good idea, by empowering employees who are really creative, who are really good, who want to learn, who strive to achieve more, by empowering them to succeed as well. And then making work visible, that's also another thing. You can use Scrum, Kanbans, you can use whatever tools you want online, but you could always even do things manually if you want. You know, if you're in one place, you can use the wall as your visible, as a way to make work visible. But by making work visible, you empower people to follow up with each other, hold each other accountable. And when you make all the work measurable as well, so people will even hold each other against the timelines, which is very important when it comes to delivering the services or the value to the customers. And as you scale up, you'll have less control over the communication, over the different layers, different countries, employees that are located in different countries. So you have to keep in mind that this is going to happen. So take it easy on yourself, but plan for it as you're working every day. That for me, I need to make sure that I create a system, an organism. It has to be self-sustaining. So these are some of the considerations. I know that we're going a bit over, we're running short on time. So these are some of the initiatives I would recommend if you when you're looking at creating customer-centric culture. Make sure your meetings are short, meetings are frequent. It's very common for people when they say, okay, we'll have a daily stand-up meeting, they all violate these timelines. And then what happens is that people get bored. So you need to make sure that you ingrain it. And between now and then, it's okay as a senior, I do that. I jump into meetings between now and then randomly, just to make sure that that I'm making sure that people are sticking to the agenda. So they don't waste time, you know. So the other thing as well, establishing metrics. So there are activity metrics you have to keep in mind. If I'm in sales, how many calls did you make? How many emails did you send? I know they're not very accurate, but they give us something to make sure that we're measuring our performance on a daily basis. Now, what really matters is the final outcome, but that's one way to make sure, especially if people are working remotely, to make sure that you are keeping a measure of these metrics. Now, these metrics will be useful for you later as well, when you create capacity calculators and you create financial models. To be able, I mean, you'll need to be able to have a calculated estimation or a guesstimation of how many people will you need as you scale up. So, and then you've got the performance metrics. This is also another important thing where you measure the performance of the team. And then you've got the SLAs, which is the service level agreements and objectives. This is something that you have to publish to your customers, make sure that they're aware of it. Depends, especially if you're in a B2B business like PayTabs. You need to make sure that they're aware of what the SLAs are. If it's an urgent case, what are the urgent cases? What defines an urgent case, and then versus a normal case. And also even within the departments as well, you need to find a way to measure the SLAs. Create subject matter experts as you're scaling up, because you need to make sure that the knowledge is shared between the team and people have ownership of the areas that they need to teach others on. So if you have like multiple products, you could have areas of responsibilities based on products. It could be based on markets, based, like in the case of PayTabs, we have based on functions, like for refunds, for example, and chargebacks, you've got someone who's 2 or 3 people who are overlooking that knowledge. And then this takes us to the knowledge base. You need to make sure that all the knowledge is not stuck in someone's head. As you're growing up, initially you can afford that because you have a small team, you can't afford hiring more people. But as you're scaling up, you need to keep that in mind. I need to make sure that the knowledge is captured centrally. And then one thing I like doing is creating an employee success handbook. So that will empower existing employees, the new employees, to come on board and learn quickly and have something that they can always use as a reference and learn new things from. And also you don't need to, because when you start creating policies, those documents are complex. I mean, it will bore the hell out of them. Not everyone is equipped to understand what the policies or translate them into action. So having a handbook helps you out in translating the action items or the important items out of the policies into practices, and you can test them on it. Making work visible, I already touched on this earlier. Reward people. Rewarding doesn't always have to be with money. It can be with a token. It could be like a gift card. It could be a certificate. It could be a recognition. Find different categories. Call centers and outsourcing companies are excellent at this. Yeah, so I encourage that you learn from them. There are some resources I'll be sharing at the end of this presentation that you could use. Dismantle dysfunctional behavior. We touched upon this earlier a bit. So I'll discuss this in more detail in the coming 2 slides. And then empowering employees. So empowering employees, it's important to give them the access to the access rights that will get them to fix the customer's request within the first 2-3 minutes without having to escalate to another department internally. When you do that, you empower them, they can be more productive, and let them ask you for other accesses so that they can become faster at what they do. And you'll be surprised. They'll share with you so much. And this is one of the ways as well, many of the large companies that we see, the big brand names, this is one of the ways they keep on empowering their employees to refund you quickly or give you a free annual subscription or stuff like that, because they have all of that. They have it as part of their policies, but also they empower their employees to take the call on those retention calls.